special, incredible trip. Oh, we have 4 on deck. What's up? It's the first time we've had 4 on deck. And this is a beautiful Remy. Remy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Remy.
Remy it is! That's Quinn's lady right here. Quinn, what's up?
What's up?
Thanks for being here, bro.
Thank you. Thank you for
And
inviting me.
oh no, Gracie. Gracie. Holy shit, I called you Gracie!
Dore.
Tori Grace!
Oh no.
Dore Grace, because you know, Grace and Gracie. They have very similar awesome spirits, so. Anyway, so we're doing the prayer for the day. I know it's been a minute. Expect the unexpected. I love it. Let's go. And thank you for the music selection, bro.
Of course.
Good choice. I just
Yeah.
love me that song. You have no idea.
Oh yeah, man.
I think you do know. You
No,
do
I
know.
I do know.
All right, so go ahead, bro.
What do you-
December 1st. You just read that and then we give our point of view on it.
This part?
Yeah.
Okay. Be patient, therefore,
Brethren.
brethren, until the coming of the Lord. Behold, the
Husbandman. It's like Christ, you know.
Okay, the husbandman waiteth.
Waiteth. This Shakespeare shit.
You see, I think you're
Okay.
doing better than I
Be
would.
patient, therefore, brethren, until the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth, being patient over it until it receive the early and latter rain. That's beautiful. That's from Jasper 5:7. And you read what this commentary, Carmichael, had to say about it.
Okay. Being patient over it. There are some things very loving in these words. Even in Christian circles, weakness is often called love. But this kind of love isn't weak. It is the love of the Father in the parable of Luke 15. There was no softness in his love, no weakness. He did not reinstate.
He did not reinstate. Very good.
His son till he had utterly forsaken his pride and was broken down by a sense of his sins and unworthiness. But the Father love was patient over his
Prodigal son.
son,
That's the dude
never
that took
giving
off and
up
came
hope.
back.
Never giving up hope. Our love must be the same.
Do you know that story?
No.
Okay, so the prodigal son, some rich dude had 2 kids. One of them, it's like loud, he kicks it, he goes to work, he fucking like does it up, you know? And then the other one wants to sense an adventure, so he goes out. Unfortunately, this mofo has a lot of money. So he got all sorts of group of friends coming at him like, ooh, party, hardy. And then he ended up penniless, forsaken by his friends' money. He didn't have any money and didn't have any whatever, no more party goods. And he ended up like picking up like pigsties and stuff just to get food. And so he thought, there's no way in hell my dad will ever take me back. But he was so humbled and so desperate that he went back home and he expected his family to just reject him. And so he said, I just want to be a servant. I'll just be a servant here, man. And then his father looked at him, comes rushing through the entire field to meet up with his son. And he's like, best food. Here's my coat. Here's a ring. Here's, oh my God, you're back. You know? And it was like, he was like, what? And then the son was a little resentful, and the father's like, what are you talking about? Your brother's back. Our prodigal son is back. He's humbled now. He's full of humbleness, and just and all we need to do is love him, and we can reel him back up, and then everything's gonna be beautiful, man. And so that father didn't lose any love for his son at any point. It's a beautiful story. So
Yeah, no, definitely, especially in the world we live now, where that's abandonment is a big issue.
Yeah.
People have a hard time, because some people feel like they need that support from parents and stuff, but not everyone knows that you can find all that support within you.
Very true.
To find that actual father that'll care for you inside of you.
And then you'll love them like the Father loves you, like He loves them, like we all love each other.
So if you love yourself like you love everyone else, then they got no problem.
Yeah! Everybody else is making sound prodigal son. Ladies. Madam. Okay.
Madam.
Okay, well then I guess we'll go on. If we got December 1st is from God's moment. And here's the funny thing. I know I've been reading for this for a while, but I just got to give it a second to my now passed on friend Mike Odino. This is what when he gave me this book, he's the one that nicknamed me Bible Girl. He's like, Bible Girl. That was him. It was almost a comical thing, because he's like, what are you doing up here high with your Bible? What's up, Bible Girl? But he had this book, and he always talked to God. He yelled at God, actually, but it always ended up with laughter. He'd always like, what the fuck are you doing to me? And then by the end, he'd laugh and go, all right, And so this is a thing that I just read this morning. Received on December 2nd, 2011. A most precious gift given to me by my dear new trustworthy friend, Mike Onino. He couldn't trust anybody, and the fact that he could trust me was like a big deal for him. So that's why I put that in there, because I trusted him back. Anyway, so this book of holy prayers or daily worship and loving praise to our God, our Savior, Christ consciousness, that higher self in us is what I would say now. But let's see, December 1st, let's see what this old school book has, because it has some gems in here that you've all are gotten used to and loving to. December 1st, I am the Lord thy God, which teaches thee to profit, which leadeth thee. That's from Isaiah 48:17. Usually the word profit up in here is like a bad thing, but when you're profiting in a spiritual way, that means that your light is a feather. That means that you have a skip in your step. That means that you walk in the room and people smile and look up, you know? So God and Father of all families of the earth and the galaxies, what's up? I'm saying it. Thou art worthy of our daily love and constant gratitude, as our Mama B's always at. Yep. Daily love and constant gratitude. Thou knowest we can never be other than children crying on thee for food, raiment, and shelter for our subsistence and protection. We stretch our hands towards thee to be led through paths we cannot know, beside which temptation, lurk, and snares are set, but deliver us, beseech thee, from the evil one. So, in other words, bring it to remembrance our awareness of our eternity. So that when we walk through these fields and people come up and things come up, situations come up, you can just be like, I see you. And I get what you're doing. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to bob and weave. I'm going to bob and weave. And if I catch myself energetically involved, I will depend on you to silence me long enough to be able to know how to gently and carefully step out of this so that my energy don't get sucked in or added to it, and that I'm able to sustain my vibration.
Control your power. Know where you're putting your energy.
That's hard, bros and sisters.
It is.
And we're doing it. We're doing it. We're learning. I think everyone here can testify to that. And it's a daily thing. Help us to appreciate our earthly family relations. Established and wondrously blessed by thee. So, because what's the point of being light bearers and light workers if we're not like healing everything around us, you know? Grant that, and we come from gratitude, so that becomes like we look for love, we look for the best, and that's what we find by and by. It just takes a minute. Grant that our home may be kept in peace and good, while among all of its members, by that love for one another which casts out suspicion and fear. We concentrate it with all its interest to thy prayer and practice. We consecrate it, we give it to you. It with all its interest and thy care and service. So we already thank you in advance for what you're about to continue to have happen here that's positive. That the yearning of our hearts for thy approval and that indwelling may bring us to godliness with contentment. And that's a small letter G on godliness. So that's just what you said right now when it says that the yearning of our hearts for thy approval, because we seek things outside of ourselves, but if we go inside and find our little G God, as this says, indwelling may bring us godliness with contentment. We find that within our hearts, within ourselves, and then we radiate that out so other people can see that same reflection, because we're all one. So as long as that same reflection comes back through us to them, then they can recognize themselves too.
I think he's just trying to state that if you're going to try to fix things around you, maybe in your family or something, and you're going out of your comfort zones and you're going out of yourself, then you probably, by the looks of it, it's probably not going to be the way you want it to turn out.
Yeah.
And see, and that's what I've noticed with like listening to yourself and stuff, is because you listen to yourself and everything kind of just plays out. You know, it's just like no coincidence. It's not coincidence. It's pure, perfectly tailored plan. Manifestation. You know, seeing it, envisioning it, and pursuing it.
That's exciting if you can actually like picture it perfect and have it come out picture perfect. Because for me, it's the intent that I find. It's what I yearn for in what I search for, what I seek out, what I put out. as long as I stay in that little like spot in the middle where I'm like ready to receive, it can come in. It can be very surprising. And for me personally, it's not always. It's become a lot more like, whoa, left field. Like it went from that to like, that's what I wanted, and there it is.
Yeah. Well, see, even having that like intentions in your head of wanting to fix your family that bad, or wanting to fix those problems in you, you know, and that right there, you have the power, but now you got to figure out where you're gonna put it.
Well, I find that when I go into that lack place, it's something that I learned. You know, always hear people talk about the manifestation, the power of attraction, da da da. If you say that, you know, there's a problem in your family, you're just manifesting more problems in your family. And so that's what I mean about that middle space where I just sit there and I'm like, I'm going to hold my peace. I'm going to be in gratitude. I'm going to feel the feelers I'm feeling, and then say it's okay and release them until it's that peaceful moment, because that's when things can, I think, manifest in the way that you're describing, because there's enough space to actually coordinate it. What? I got what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Thank you for reminding me, brother. Thank you. And this continues on, but I get the gist, so go ahead.
Okay, so we're doing mine now?
Yeah, Jesus calling.
Okay, Jesus calling. And I just read this, and this is powerful, guys, so listen up.
Okay, listening.
I love you with an everlasting love which flows out from the depths of eternity. Before you were born, I knew you. Ponder the awesome mystery of a love that encompasses you from before birth to beyond the grave. Modern man has lost the perspective of eternity. To distract himself from the gaping jaws of death, he engages in ceaseless activity and amusement. The practice of being still in my presence is almost a lost art. Yet it is this very stillness that enables you to experience my eternal love. You need the certainty of my loving presence in order to weather the storms of life. During times of severe testing, even the best theology can fail you if it isn't accompanied by experiential knowledge of me.
Boom! Sorry.
The ultimate protection against sinking during life's storms is devoting time to develop your relationship with me.
Meditation, mofos.
There you
Go
go.
to the throne room. Go to your quiet space. I don't know what y'all call
Also,
it.
if
Meditation,
you are looking for good
meditation.
meditation music, this is a good song. It's called the Debbie Prayer. You can find it on YouTube.
Enjoying it.
It's what you're listening to.
I know, it's pretty epic. Hold on, let's give this, since you put it up, let's give this a minute. Really hear this, guys, and then we'll move on to our last book. Thank you. Oh, you know you want more. You know you want more. Now, he told you what it is. As a team, go find it. We love you. Remy, it's your turn. Because I can only do like 40 minutes of it before it gets switched. And this is, you're reading Lovely Chambers. That's right, you can't out me for that because that shit's like old. Sorry.
Okay. Whoever shall keep the whole law and yet stumble in one point, he is guilty of all.
Whoa! Say that again?
Whoever shall keep the whole law and yet stumble in one point, he is guilty of all.
Oh, that's harsh. That's a lot of pressure. Pressure, under pressure. Go ahead, sorry.
Okay. The moral law does not consider our weaknesses as human beings. In fact, it does not take into account our hereditary or infirmities. It simply demands that we be absolutely moral. The moral law never changes, neither for the highest of society or for the weakest in the world. It is enduring and eternally the same. The moral law ordained by God does not make itself weak to the weak by excusing our shortcomings. It remains absolute for all time and eternity. If we are not aware of this, it is because we are less than alive. Once we do realize it, our life immediately becomes a fatal tragedy. I was alive once without the law, but when the commandment came, sin revived and I died. The moment we realize this, the Spirit of God convicts us of sin. Until a person gets there and sees that there is no hope, the cross of Christ remains absurd to him. Conviction of sin always brings a fearful, confining sense of the law. It makes a person hopeless.
Whoa.
I, a guilty sinner, can never work to get right with God. It is impossible. There is only one way by which I can get right with God, and that is through the death of Jesus Christ. I must get rid of the underlying idea that I can never ever be right with God because of my obedience. Who of us could ever obey God to absolute perfection? We only begin to realize the power of moral law once we see that it comes with a condition and a promise. Because God never... I don't know what that word is.
Which word?
It's right there.
Coerces us.
Coerces us, that's what I thought. Sometimes we wish he would make us obedient, and at other times we wish he would leave us alone. Whenever God's will is in complete control, he removes all pressure. And when we deliberately choose to obey him, he will reach to the remotest star and to the ends of the earth to assist us with his almighty power.
A condition and a promise is what I got out of that. What did you get out of that? Remy?
I don't know, kind of bad.
Well, condition. No, it's like it's a lot. And the condition and the promise is almost like, well, I don't think Father is like, I want the best for you. I want the best for all of you. I need you to see how much love is in you, and I want you to be the bigger person. I want
think
you.
he had half of it right.
Yeah, I think he
I
had.
think he was on track, but I don't think he got most of it.
It's
right?
the words that we use.
Right. Well, yeah. See, and then also it's how you interpreted it.
And cultural. This is older.
Yeah. See. And so back then they believed.
There's a lady named Caroline Miss. I'm just introducing Caroline Miss, the incredible Caroline Miss, MYSS. Please look her up. This woman is epic. If you don't already know who she is, but I bet you most of you do. I was introducing her last night. She was talking about spirit language, and this is a type of author. They will kind of blend this reality into what we're reading from older books to now into what it really is, and that's a change that occurred, in her opinion, just as a possibility. She thinks it happened when we started the nuclear ship. When we literally set that bomb off in 47, we as people changed. Her DNA changed. We became changed humanity. Our entire planet changed. So people back then, they would never say the words, I need to go process this before I go, to quote her. You know, her grandparents, their world was a lot smaller. They could only perceive so much. And then ever since that change and that activation, hell of an activation, 9/11, another one, happened, things had to change. Veils had to drop, and new ideas had to present themselves to be not reviewed, but acknowledged. And so I think that that's the difference in the books and why we feel that he got half of it right, because he didn't have exactly all the eyes and ears to see.
Exactly.
But now we are! So, what does that tell you guys, everything you just read right now?
I don't know. It seems like he was going a lot on his faith, but he was also leading, I think, with the wrong intentions. I think he was going with his...
Oh, I think he was going with his voice and his sights and what he could see and talk to and feel. But instead, I think he needed. Well, see, but like how you said back then, it was a little bit harder too. So that's why.
That's
not like
an
I'm mad at him
assumption.
or
That's an
disagree.
assumption. We are making an assumption.
Yeah.
We're going off of Caroline Mrs. work and others. But I think it's explanatory as to why we're a lot more open-minded.
Yeah. What I learned was that you see more of them without the senses you were given.
The knowing we have inside.
Yes. And the knowing inside of you and seeing with your third eye open.
How do we get to that third eye opening and connecting to our inner selves, Dore?
Meditation. And if you're not used to meditating, or it's uncomfortable or difficult for you to relax, more of the reason you should do it. It's don't. I don't know. Did I say that? Could you hear me? Did they hear me?
It works. Definitely.
It works. Don't make a crutch of it, but it does work. It does help.
It
It
really
helps
it
silence
truly
the
does.
room in your heads.
until you can really sit in your own stillness, in your own silence. Or when you can do that is when you will hear the Holy Spirit that's all you will start to hear. If you can clear the clutter and the debris out of your mind and your heart,
Peel back those layers.
everything will just clear up so effortlessly, organically, naturally, and everything will start to fall into place. But it's with the effort. You have to take those steps
You can.
to start that relationship, to build that relationship. It's a building of a relationship is what it
Then
is.
you have to consistently
Yes.
do it too. You can't just like be in love with
It's
somebody
eagerness
and
and
ditch
earnestness.
them.
It's an eagerness and an earnestness to build and have that connection to source. You have to have that.
Oh, damn, we're so good. I'm thinking, because usually when it gets to 35 or 40, it gets really sketchy and I might lose the video. We're only at 21. We nailed this shit.
Yeah, no, we're at 22.
Party, we have, and there's the magic number 4. There we go.
Love you guys. Thank you for listening, Aaron. Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.
We had to choose.
Namaste.